Hey guys, today I'm back with another Call of Duty mobile video, and in this video we're going to do something a little bit different. So a few of you guys have asked me to cover the Outlaw sniper rifle, and since sniper rifles have kind of different stats, like they work a little bit differently compared to some of the weapons I've looked at, instead of doing like an in-depth review, I'm just going to talk about the Outlaw compared to some of the other weapons in its class. And for the second half of this video, I really wanted to look at some of the balance changes that have come in the Season 6 update and see what I think of them, and hopefully hear some of your guys' thoughts as well. Before we get started though, it would be awesome if you guys could hit the like and subscribe button on this video, but without further ado, let's get into it. So the Outlaw is a fast moving and lower damage sniper rifle, so it fits into the same category as something like the Locust. So it's still a bolt action, but it fires quite quickly, and I do believe it's the fastest moving sniper rifle actually. So when you're running around, you'll notice that it feels like pretty much like you're holding an assault rifle, because sniper rifles in this game are generally a bit on the slower side, but this one is a bit of an exception to that. The downside of course is that you're going to be getting a lot of hit markers with this weapon, so you do have to hit the chest and the head. You'll find that hitting like the arms and legs and even the lower body won't give you that one-shot kill, which you really kind of need to be getting with a bolt-action sniper rifle, so make sure your aim is on point. One other thing about this game is that sometimes the hit rate is a bit off, and understandable, it's a mobile game, sometimes the servers aren't perfect, but that will penalize you more often than you might realize. So on your screen it might look like you've hit them, square in the upper chest, but the game will just give you that white hit marker instead of that red one that you really want, and it can be really frustrating, but I guess you just have to work with it. There's not a lot we can do except for trying to protest for Activision to get better servers. It is always an option, but that aside, you guys might notice that this weapon has a really fast ADS time, so you can scope in really quickly, and that can help you hit those quick scopes, especially if you're going to make those montages that I know some of you guys really love. But overall, I would say my verdict on this weapon is that it's not that worth using. Unfortunately, it is a bit unforgiving because of the damage multipliers. Like the DLQ, while it is a bit slower, it's one-shot kill anywhere on the body except the legs, and that's a lot easier to use. The DLQ is my personal favorite, but if you like a sniper rifle that is a little bit more aggressive and can scope in faster and can move faster, and you don't mind losing a bit of damage, I would say the Locust is a better choice than this. If you really want a sniper rifle that handles like an assault rifle, or you're just like automatic and every shot is a headshot, then this is the gun for you, but those are pretty specific circumstances, and I would say that this is a less valuable pick than the other weapons. The gun does cycle the bolt pretty quickly, so that's pretty much when you fire, your guy has to pull that little thing back before you can fire again, so you can fire off a follow-up shot quite fast. So if you miss or if you get a hit marker, and you'll be getting a lot of hit markers with this gun, that is an advantage to it. But if you really like spammy and you really like shooting a lot of shots out of your sniper rifle, I would recommend the Arctic 50 above this. That gun does hit a lot harder, and it gets called a noob weapon pretty often. I don't really think it's a noob weapon, but I can sort of see why people say that. People prefer the higher skill, bolt action sort of weapon, but if you like spammy sniper rifles, then I would recommend the Arctic 50 above this. The one-shot kill zone is just so much bigger, and I do think you'll get better production out of that gun. I don't have a full class setup for you guys today, but what I would recommend is the stock and the lightweight perk in the red slot, because you just want to get all you can out of the mobility of this gun if you decide to run with it, since that's its like #1 strength. Now that we've talked about the Outlaw, I want to move on to the second part of this video, where we'll have a look at some of the balance changes that have come in Season 6 to the multiplayer weapons. I do have them all on screen here for you guys. They're in the patch notes when you load up the game, but firstly we'll talk about the ICR. So this is obviously a very low recoil but slow time to kill assault rifle, and I do like the buff. I'm glad that they buffed it, but unfortunately this doesn't address the time to kill issue. The problem is it's kind of abysmal, and even if you got a straight laser gun that can like cross the map people and spray them down, like it's great if you can hit all your shots, but I still think this weapon is very lacking. Up close you're going to get absolutely slaughtered by anyone who can even half aim with a faster killing weapon, so it is really difficult to use right, and I think it probably needs a further buff. So next up is the HBRA3, and it is a bit different to the leaks. So they said that they were getting a range and mobility nerf, but it turns out we've just got this ADS speed nerf here. I didn't think the HBRA3 was overpowered, and I am a little bit sad that we never got to use the full version of it for free. At this stage you can still only get it if you paid for it, unless you're in the test server, and the test server is not up right now, so that's the only way. But I guess this will maybe reduce the complaints of people saying it's a bit pay to win, so there is that. For the M4 LMG and the RPD, I guess what they were going for, or what Activision was going for, was guns that are just meant to be used as more campy, more defensive, and longer range, instead of you just like running around and using it as a big assault rifle with a large magazine. But these guns were not considered overpowered, but I understand why they did it. It's more just to adjust people's playstyle, and I think this is okay. As you can see here, on those two guns they've also buffed the accuracy, which means that your shots are going to be hitting even closer to where that red dot or iron sight is pointing, and that's really good for fighting especially head glitches, because only a little bit of them is showing. So just in case you don't know what head glitching is, there are those spots in the map that you can really only see the top of your head out of cover. Some people consider it even an exploit, but it's basically a really advantageous position because you can shoot them, since the bullets in this gun actually kind of come out of higher than where your gun is. It's more about where your eye level is, and they can only see a tiny bit of you, so it will help you a lot. It gives you really good cover, and getting people out of these spots can be really annoying sometimes, especially if you can't flank them. And finally, with the BK57 buff, the accuracy, it's the same deal, but this is already a really accurate gun. I'm really glad they buffed this weapon because it's one of my favorites. I probably will make a video on it as soon as I get that epic skin that's in the crates, in the battle pass crates this season, but this gun is pretty much fine as it is, and I'm really glad with that. This definitely is one of the strongest assault rifles in the game, but I don't think it's overpowered, so it should be okay. With the next up, the UL736 and S36 stability buff, so that's pretty much like, it has less recoil, and I know some people were a bit worried about the S36 because if you guys have like PTSD left over from season 4 and you remember just how broken this gun was, it's nothing like that, I can promise you. But both these LMGs probably had a bit too much recoil for the role they're designed for, so I think they're good buffs. The S36 had kind of been nerfed into the ground a bit and it wasn't really being used, so it's good to see it back up again, but it's not too good. Don't worry guys, it's not going to be broken. Next up guys, we've got the HVK 30 buff, and I do think that this was sorely needed. It didn't really make that much sense. It's like you've got a high rate of fire assault rifle that doesn't kill that quick, especially at close range, so it did need to be better, and the reload time was really long, so it was probably punishing players a bit unfairly for using this, so I'm glad they've adjusted these two things. I still wouldn't put it in the absolute top tier of assault rifles, but it is better, and it probably is where it should be right now. The Man of War accuracy nerf, I guess that is a small nerf, but I don't like this. I disagree with it. If anything, I really do think the Man of War needed a buff. It's not that it's a terrible weapon, but there isn't that much reason to use it over the ASM-10 at the moment. If you're more interested in that, you can have a look. I've explained that in detail in my last Man of War weapon review, so you can search for that on my channel. Finally, we've got the MSMC buff, and I think that this is a good one as well. They've nerfed the MSMC a bit too hard into the ground, and I do think it fills an important niche in this game, which is that like really high rate of fire, really fast killing SMG that's pretty much only good at point blank, and then after that is more punishing to use. So I do think that this is a weapon that should be viable. I know people have complained about it a lot. Yes, it probably has been a little bit OP in the past. For sure it shouldn't be beating like longer range SMGs or assault rifles at mid range, but it should hopefully be in a good place now. I have to play with this one more and really see. That does bring us to the end of this video guys. I hope you learned something and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be back with more and I'll see you all in the next one.